Today on another wild edition of LandlordJournal.com. I know everyone out there, in just a second, someone's calling on the phone. Cancel that real bad. What the problem is. Another crazy tennis caller. I'm gonna turn it off. This ain't my fun. Anyway, as you probably have guessed by now, this is unrehearsed. We don't edit it, and it's pretty much raw footage. So you get what you get what you see, or so you get whatever, however they say that. But anyway, this episode of LandlordJournal.com was recorded in August of last year, 2010, and I'm trying to get, as I've mentioned it a zillion times before, but just in case someone has not heard it, I'm trying to get all of our episodes on YouTube and all of our episodes turned into podcasts to post on our website. As many of you know, we record a live show on Ustream, which we will have a call-in feature sometime this fall. You may have seen me advertise that or speak of that sometime in the past if you follow us. And there are at least a couple of you who do just that. But anyway, this episode is we discussed duplexes, triplexes, and quads. And for those of you who don't know what that is, which most of you probably will, a duplex is a two-unit building, a triplex is a three-unit building, and a quad is a four-unit building. So enjoy the show, and be sure to check out our forums. Thank you.
If you are listening to our podcast, you will not be able to see our slideshows. But during this podcast, we are talking, as we do a lot, about capitalization rates and the capitalization rate on a single-family home versus a duplex, triplex, and quad, and even in an apartment building situation. We use a spreadsheet, and again, it's flashing up on the screen. If you are listening to this on our podcast and not watching, of course you'll not be able to see this, and hopefully this will be cut out of the podcast. But anyway, we are talking about capitalization rates first here on LandlordsJournal.com.
no way for that one to be a... The only way that can be a good thing is if we were cash poor, we wanted to grow, and we were willing to take no cash, have no positive cash flow, and work it very hard. For the right person, that's still a deal.
That leaves no room for error.
I know. Yeah. That's why you can't. That's why I'm not proposing that. I'm saying for us, it doesn't make sense. I think we can put a cap on it. But I'm talking about for if you were a 24-year-old, and I'm making up a number. If you were a 24-year-old college student, and you had a little bit of money, to pop down. This is his down payment, which is probably negotiable. If you had a reasonable amount of money to prove that you weren't just fly by night, and you could go in there and do that, you could own your own home. It wouldn't be for income, but you could own your own home and be on your way. You have no credit. You've maxed out your credit cards during school, and you have zero credit. That's a great opportunity for the right person.
That's what I want to do in 3 weeks at our Rehoboth Beach trip. On the second day, I want to drill our numbers and finish what we started in January, and actually see what we're actually experiencing.
Yeah,
I mean, we have this budget.
Look at this ad here. There are properties here in areas that we have looked at before. There's a duplex. There's a 5-unit apartment. This guy wants to sell them as a
lump. He wants to sell all those together.
He wants to sell them as a lump.
That's okay. Nice. Give me a
Which listing is that, Donnie?
It'd take us an hour and a half to look through all those.
What day, Donnie? Is that?
When is the listing?
Yeah.
The 21st of July.
We need to get our database up and running because we could have.
And the heading is called investment property. You want me to email this one?
I've got it.
Oh shit! Sorry. I need to leave the room. I forgot.
You know how hard it is to edit this out, John.
I forgot we're being recorded.
I hate that Donnie's not in any of this.
Oh.
By the way, Donnie's over here.
These prices are outrageous.
I'm gonna pull up. The prices are outrageous, and so nobody has bid on this.
No kidding.
And he lives in Florida. I mean, I'm making this shit up. I'm making up the scenario. I'm just assessing what I read here. What is the number? He does give a 3 or 4 number.
690,
which is a cell phone.
Okay, let's go back and look at this.
We looked over there too, haven't we? We looked over Altizer. That's near Guidon.
Yeah, Altizer's nice.
It's not bad.
We've driven through there a couple times.
Yeah, we have. It is nice.
If he's not getting any bites, if we found one that we offered, and
maybe there's a couple. I think we're
so run me through the most attractive thing that you see on a glance.
At a glance is the I don't know, a duplex.
Okay.
We always like, and then he has a 5-unit building there too.
So I don't have it in front of me because I can't do multiple things right now at once. So give me the rental income on that.
Which one?
Okay, let's
five,
see.
Five or
He's
the
got them
duplex?
right there. Let's see. There's a duplex.
Will somebody divide that 14,820 by 12 for me? Because I'm not built for
I
that.
can grab my calculator.
Actually, I've got one here I can use.
Are you going to use yours or should
Yeah,
I get mine?
14,820. I can do it. Divided by 12 is 1235.
Thank you. Now, are you looking at the 5-unit?
I'm looking at the
Duplex.
They said the duplex first.
Okay,
So
duplex.
So the duplex, and we're looking at an amount.
He's asking $126,467. Where did he get that from? Oh, that's where. Excuse me. That's
123 makes it
123.
in standard real estate prime time.
What's the cap rate?
Which is 10% cap rate.
No,
Seven.
it's 7. It's
Wow.
7. It's 7%.
Sean says that's acceptable.
That's not
It's
now
for
acceptable.
us.
Yeah.
Because
Which is acceptable.
and the reason is going to be proven at our retreat with John's idea when we go in and we say, here's what we said. We said we were going to get this. What do we
I want
actually
to
get?
do actual.
I think that's great.
I want to go through and compare like we're going to do in January.
We might need to revise these numbers.
So if we need to raise those numbers or lower them, or
Are you thinking ours might be too high for
Oh,
what we
yeah.
expect?
on our stuff, do a complete financial.
Yeah, I don't
autopsy
think
and
we're
see what
realistic.
We're realistic.
Sometimes
We're
I wonder
not.
if we're
I'll tell you where we're not realistic is on our vacancy.
I don't,
And we need to check maintenance too. We need to make sure we got those numbers ready.
Do an autopsy on all those numbers.
Do you have all that information
Mhm.
loaded and ready to go? So
Most
I mean,
of
we
it.
can pull it up.
Most of
Okay.
it. I just need to put it in the spreadsheet.
Okay.
So let's see what happens if we get him down to 110,000. If we get him to 100,000.
All of it's recorded. I just have to scour. I just have to do some data.
See, this won't work.
I think we would have to make him an offer on greater than one of these properties
All right, so
together as a set.
we have to get him down to $90,000 for that to make sense based on that income. So give me the second most likely.
How about the one on the bottom? I'm just thinking that
The 5-unit.
as far as rental, I don't know. I haven't looked at the number. Just,
Oh Lord!
155
You
for
just
5
I just
units.
had a little pain.
What was it?
The description of that apartment building.
is
What did
it
it
like?
say?
3 units still need to be finished
Yeah,
rehabbing.
oh, God,
Oh,
hell
Lord.
no!
No.
Hell no!
Okay, forget
For
that.
one, and he still wants 155 for it.
No.
I just-
no.
Okay,
the
let me
man's-
see.
Sounds like
there
another.
anything
What's
else
that?
there?
What's that guy's
What about
name?
that Altizer one? Let's look at that one. That's a nice neighborhood. 60,000 Altizer, but if you got that down to 45, would that be realistic for
Yeah.
us?
He acts like he's really because he's got an appraisal of 66. We know how appraisals work.
They don't mean
That don't
nothing.
mean anything.
Well, not only does it not mean anything, it means he's asking too much.
Well, he's basing that on. He's probably like, well, I'll take off 12%. I mean, he's
Yeah.
No, he's
got
thinking
some
people are
formula.
retarded.
Yeah, he's thinking people are retarded.
But I'm wondering, like at 40 or 45.
10,980.
the
Praise
Altizer
value.
one.
That's why I said nobody's gonna
That was one.
Where do you find the? Where's our cap rate calculator?
Look at us. Well, no, but I mean, but people could go back and watch it later. Mm-hmm. And I've got an interesting tale for John.
What?
Guy at work did a YouTube video of his putting in a French drain, and he said he's had over 5,000 hits on YouTube.
Well, French drain.
He's getting ready to build a wall. He's going to do the same thing. He's into video.
I love video.
I think that's pretty neat.
He needs to make a blog about it.
I didn't want to get into the...
Make him think you know what you're talking about.
Huh?
Don't want him to think you know what you're talking about and give him any ideas. You don't need any competition.
Especially local. Okay, did you get in?
No, I can't find it.
What are you looking for?
Are you under docs.google? Docs.google.com. You have to sign in using your Google password, which is...
Oh, wait, no, I'm there.
I'm trying to find.
Cap rate
I'm trying to
calculator.
get to that right there.
Are you in there?
Yeah. Are you logged in? Yes.
Okay, so go here and type docs.google.com. And enter. Okay,
It should be the
cap rate calculator. Right there it is.
This came up.
So close that.
Close that. That's what I
And then
clicked.
click on that.
That's what it was. That popped up and I hit that.
And now you're viewing the same thing. And if you hit F11, you'll get rid of all this junk you got there, and it'll make it a lot easier. And then just hit escape to go back out, or F11. It's hard for you to see like that. If you hit view,
There we go.
we can't do it. Let's do this. Hit F11 and hit view there. And
Full screen.
zoom. Zoom out. And zoom out again. It'll make it. I don't think you need to. And now F11 again.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
So he's telling us that there would be a monthly mortgage payment. There would be a mortgage payment of $31.13, which I don't dispute. But that does not include taxes and insurance, I'm sure.
closing.
Yeah.
Closing prayer.
Yeah.
So, what conclusions did we draw today? I don't think we're going to act on the burned out property, and we were interested in talking to the city planner about zoning, possibly on some properties we already have, and we might have some more information about that pretty soon. We've always been interested in new development, or new construction rather, versus buying something existing.
Which we haven't done before.
Which is still very new territory for us.
And as we always are, we're very cautious about that. And we're...
What I'm seeing today is it seems like we have a much better feel on what's realistic for prices, and because somebody looking at that doesn't have much experience, they might think those are all wonderful, great deals.
Oh yeah.
And we're looking at that very skeptically.
Yeah, well, there are some deals in there. It's just that they're mixed in with crap.
Yeah.
They're mixed in with crap, and that's what's scary.
Well, a deal depends on your perspective as well, like you were saying before. You know, what's a deal to somebody is not a deal to others.
Right, and
those are not.
Let's assume that his numbers are correct. If his numbers are truly correct, and let's say you were in a car accident, and I'm making this up, or you hit the lottery. Let's do a positive thing.
Yeah, that's
you hit the lottery, and you got a check for $500,000. Not that this would be the right way to. Not this would not be the best investment of $500,000.
Right.
But if you were somebody that wanted to protect yourself for the future, and
excuse me.
And you wanted to get something, and assuming his numbers are correct, which I'm almost guaranteed they're not, making a $50,000 income, manage it yourself, that'd be your only job, and you live in one of the units. You live in the nicest house on there.
That could work for somebody.
It could easily work for somebody. I mean, there are ways, and if I were 18 and knew then what I know now, my life would be different.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
And especially, what happens is as we've read about in things like, most of us, the three of us have fallen into this trap, into the rich dad, poor dad paradigm, where you get paid enough to keep you in the rat race, and that's where we are. And if you were 18 and you had no encumbrances, you don't have all. We're not up in years, but we've got age. We're worried about health benefits, retirement. There are things that we're worried about at this stage in our life that an 18 to 20-year-old would not be. And they could take a lot more risk. They could have a lot more hands-on involvement. They don't have the time restrictions that we have. They may not have the... There's a whole world of opportunities out there for an 18 to 25-year-old that they could own the world with some hard work, smart planning, and they could do very well, I think. And I think a lot of what makes us very cautious is where we are in our stage of our life. And I think it's like backpacking in Europe. I always thought that would be neat. I'm too old to backpack in Europe now, but I wanted to do that when I was 18, and I think that would be. I equate these two things together.
Yeah, I had $10,000 saved up when I was 19 years old. I still at the credit union, they would put your balance every time you deposited money. They'd have your balance on the sheet of paper and your deposit and all that kind of stuff. They don't do that anymore, but when I was 19 years old, I still had a piece of paper that said I had $9,999.99, because my grandfather always said that you shouldn't have $10,000 because they have to report it to the IRS and that kind of thing. So I always just had $9,000, $9,999.99, so I never went over $10,000 in that account. when I was 19 years old and had $10,000 in my account. Had I known then what I know now, I could have taken a little bit of that money, bought a house like on a, which I didn't have credit back then or anything, of course. Could have bought a house like on a land contract,
taking a quarter of
it, not blow the whole wad, but it's taking a little bit. And when you're 18 years old, the damn thing capitalizing, 10 years or 5 years, you're still young, and you have a $500 or $600 a month income coming in. You do that, just keep building like that. Had I known then, you could basically be retired and independent.
That's what you need to be doing if you're 18 years old and you're watching this.
Yeah, but it's very, very difficult. You hear all these shovel pushers saying you don't have to have money, you don't have to have credit, you don't have to have anything, and I find that's not really the case.
I agree. But
you have to have,
you can get in the game with a very small amount of money if you find a desperate property owner. What you have to do is you have to do a lot more legwork. You can't go and look at 10 things and expect one of them to be.
Yeah, you have options, but you have less options.
Yeah, you have fewer options, but you've got more options. You've got more flexibility, and so I'm telling you, if I were that age, I really think there's a lot of. I mean, just look at what we did at Oakland. What if we were living in one of those? You could easily live in one of those and have the other one make the payment.
You have time on your side.
And then you've got. I mean, that would be easily done. And I venture to say we could have gotten it for less of a down payment than we put on it.
We could have, I think.
Well, we're learning. That was our first deal.
From him.
No, we haven't. He hadn't bid on it. We should have put a deadline on it and said, basically letting him know that if you don't take it, we're going to use this money for something else. Something to that effect. We might want to follow up and say this is your final notice to. He can't do anything to us. He can't.
Would we still be willing to pay that off? And
I don't know.
To get the.
And we could still pay it off with what we owe on it.
I think it was a great idea. I tell you, that was one of the best. It was one of the best. It was one of the best ideas that we collectively. I didn't come up with it myself, but that was one of the best ideas we've had. I think it was awesome.
Still would like him to take it for this.
Well,
and we could do a final offer.
Maybe we should do a letter.
Yeah.
Offer it one more time. Maybe he's out of town and checked his mail or something.
He's bad about that.
Yeah.
He's bad about cashing it.
Send him an email.
Or send him a loan.
That's what I would do. Is I'd follow up with an email and say, "Hey, we're getting ready to act on something. We want to see if we're going to move on something, and we want to see if you want to take us up on that. If not, we're going to move on something
I'll
else."
send him an email.
That's a good idea. Just kind of follow up and say, "Hey,
okay, what do you think about that letter?" Because it's been like 3 weeks.
It's been a while now.
It's
long enough for him to respond, and
right.
He has.
If he's interested.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that he didn't bite on it.
I know.
I'm amazed he didn't bite on and try to negotiate or anything.
Yeah, didn't try to negotiate even.
I mean, there's so many possibilities on that. For me, I mean, there's a time cost of money. But I mean, for me, there's a time value of money. But for me, I'd really consider, or at least negotiate. He might be thinking, well, they're getting ready to pay it off anyway, so I'm just gonna
just sit.
Yeah.
And let them. He might have outfoxed us.
He might outfox us. Exactly.
He may be stewing that week. Got such a deal now over him.
Yeah.
It's like, grr.
Yeah.
Maybe he figured it out.
It's this.
I don't know.
And you had a cookout at 3:30.
Whose birthday is it?
My brother came in. My sister-in-law's pregnant.
Oh,
She's
you have
been
another one coming.
She's been pregnant. Yeah, she's been pregnant. She's been trying to get pregnant for years. She's an older lady.
Listen, well, we'll wrap this up. It's been good.
It's been fun. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you.